What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Founder Academy. I am Mark, the FUT founder. We are getting close, guys. We're getting close to catching up. So what you guys are going to see today, we got a long one, actually. Quite a few clips because, like I said, I'm trying to get all of this footage. I realized I had like 100 clips. I was trying to like crush into some videos and stuff like that. So you guys will get a lot of gameplay today and then a couple SBCs as we just try to catch up. We're almost caught up, actually. We are about maybe 2 weeks behind, which isn't that bad because I can power through a week or so in like one video, so I'm pretty excited about that. It is not going to be too much longer, and then we will have essentially almost everything that we need completely up to date. So if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. If you're not, you guys know what to do. Please hit that like button down below and comment anything you guys have, any questions you guys have regarding the channel or any comments you have regarding the videos. I always love to hear from you guys. So what you guys are seeing here is actually, as you can tell, two-player gameplay. So it's the PS5 version that we were playing. We were playing with our friend Nema. His name is nbomb32. I was just looking at that other guy's username. So he obviously gets a lot of hate because for whatever reason people are super crazy online, and just you can assume some of the hate that he gets with that name. So like whatever happens, but he's a controversial figure. He's a funny guy, but he's one of my best friends. We've been playing FIFA since day one. He's also like a FUT founder. His team, you guys are going to see half of the gameplay with my team, the first half, and then the second half is with his team. So obviously I'm the red icon here. There's nbomb32 and the blue icon. And Nema's team is not as far advanced as mine. It's funny because he plays very off and on, but he plays a lot more gameplay. He doesn't grind the game as much as I do. So it's interesting seeing the way he builds his team. You guys will see a little bit of that later on when we actually go in with his team. Mine's a lot more further along. Obviously I put money on the game and stuff like that. So my team will have much higher rated players, but a lot of FIFA is just like asset management, right? It's just putting time and effort into watching the market and understanding when to buy and when to sell. And it's not that hard to make coins, but at the same time, there's a real like chasm between the really expensive guys and the non-expensive guys, because it's basically if the card's usable, he'll shoot up, and if he's not usable, he'll just drop through the floor. And when the market goes through lulls, which it is right now, like for FUT birthday, all your investments that you put time and effort and money into, they can just completely drop through the floor, and everything's relative, right? So when people just go, oh, player prices are super cheap. Yeah, but if you want to actually go get that card, for example, there's that Jadon Sancho FUT birthday that just came out yesterday. I really want to get that, but a lot of the cards that I have aren't really worth anything. So I've got all this fodder sitting in the club, and it's like through the floor. So I invested in a bunch of cheap, like Luis Suarez's, for example. They were like 24K, right, for an 88 rated card. I just put a bunch of money into, or a bunch of coins, excuse me, into those. So I had about 5 or 6 or 7 of them just sitting in my team. But it's going to take a while for them to go up. It's going to need the promotion to end, FUT birthday, them to stop releasing promo packs, and basically have a big SBC come out, like some icon stuff, so that price shoots up. So again, it's all relative. So if I want to get Jadon Sancho on the low, I got to pay, I got to essentially get rid of a lot of cards in order to get him. So it's a little frustrating in that sense. But I do a lot better job of watching the market and understanding what's going on, whereas Nema will kind of come in, build his team based on him just entering the game, and then he'll forget about it for a little while, and then next time he comes on, his cards might have gone up, they might have gone down, so he's kind of accidentally made some coins and then unfortunately lost a bunch on a lot of guys. So he also doesn't really pay attention to as much to players like weak foots and traits and meta cards and stuff like that. So for example, he went out and bought mid Roberto Baggio, and he bought this card really early. And at this point in the game, he could get so much stuff, but like I said, he doesn't pay attention to the market that much. So like that Roberto Baggio, you've got an icon tax with him, so he's probably 200 to 250 at the time that we were, recording this and talking about his team. So I was trying to convince him. I was just like, you need to sell this guy because you can go get a bunch of stuff, right? Like you could go get Neymar for that. And I think Neymar at this point, even a base Neymar, is so much more effective than A mid Roberto Baggio who's lacking stamina, he's lacking shooting, he's missing a lot of those key stats. But icons, even the worst icons, that if they're totally discardable, they're still worth 80K. And the amount of stuff that you can get for 80K, like you could get like a Marcus Rashford, it'd be like $5,000, right? 5 to 10 grand. So you can build an entire team around just a few icons that are just capable of going out and at least giving someone a run for their money, because there's so many meta cards in the game. I think there was 2 cards that were over 100K when I was recording this, and one of them was obviously Mbappe, who still dropped a ton. He went from 1 million, he's down at about like 5 to 600K on PlayStation. And I think the other one was Ronaldo, like base Ronaldo, which is like 120K, and he'll be under 100K at some point. But like Messi was under, Neymar was under. It was absolutely crazy. Like it's totally crashed, and I don't know if that's because people are just opening up a ton of packs, so there's just more supply, or if they're starting to prep for Team of the Season, which is about 6 weeks out. Or what, name any other reason there could possibly be, but like the market is just totally crashed, so you can build crazy teams now for very little. So anyway, it's funny because like I was spending a lot of time with him just essentially rebuilding his team, right? He had a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I think he had like an informed Kevin De Bruyne or something that was worth not a whole lot, but like for the price of that card, I was like, get rid of him. He's just absolutely tanked right now with that second informed Kevin De Bruyne that's in packs right now. The first one, thank God we got rid of it before that one came out, because now it's even less. The second inform, which is a very usable card, is like 130K, right? So you can get a ton of stuff right now for very, very cheap. So that's what we did. We got rid of a whole bunch of his cards, and you were not going to see it in this video, but in one of the upcoming videos where we do play some other co-op gameplay, you're going to see us use his big acquisition, which was mid Puskas, right? I was hyping up Frank Puskas to him. He's never really been the type of guy to have like a monster card. He got very lucky and ended up packing. I was convincing him to do the player pick of the icon, which I have had no luck with. You guys will see one of my player picks in this one. But he did one of them, and he got mid Patrick Vieira. So I was really happy for him. He got mid Patrick Vieira. He was using him in a 4-4-2, and then we ended up, again, changing his formation as we started dissecting his team and building his team properly. Moved him to a 4-2-3-1, and that Vieira is now a beast. He just sits there with N'Golo Kante and cleans up all that trash and lets all his strikers do the hard work, but he's not a box-to-box midfielder. He's a pure CDM that just cleans up. So he's got those two, and then he's got Puskas either as a striker or as a cam. I can't remember, one of the two. I think he's a striker, but phenomenal card. Absolutely phenomenal card. I used the baby version you guys saw earlier in the series. Now he's got the mid version. My goal is to eventually get the prime, so I'm kind of working my way through a couple options to get the prime, which hopefully you guys will see. But right now my plan is to sell once I get the icon swaps Cafu, which is my plan. I've got 6 of the tokens. I need to get the other 5 once the new set comes, I think on the 21st, so in a week or so. If I can go on power through and get that Cafu, I might sell Hakimi and then use the other coins that I got in the club with the cost of that Hakimi, who's like about 700K. So if I can muster up about 800, I think I've got 300 right now, and plus a bunch of other stuff in the club. If I can put that together and get he's around 1.5 now, that would be really sick, because I could go get the prime Puskas, have him on the left, have Messi as that central cam, and then I could use Neymar on the right, and of course Mbappe up top, who is the guy that you guys are going to see eventually we pick up. So that's kind of my plan. That's really what I want to do. I was thinking about saving for Team of the Season, but it's 6 weeks out, and realistically I thought about this. Am I going to be able to wait 6 weeks for this? Probably not. Like, Team of the Season is one of my favorite times of the year. You guys have heard me say that before. It's my favorite promotion. I love all the high-rated cards. I love the fact that they all come out. They're all blue. It's a really cool promotion. It's my favorite time. They release really cool SBCs at that time too. But I'm not that guy who can just sit there saving packs. I don't want to wait, because the reality too is that after Team of the Season happens, people start complaining, oh, the game's dead. They're already starting to say the game's dead. People are just like, oh, game's dead, this and that. But once Team of the Season comes out, that's the kind of big final hurrah. I think Fuddies has given a little bit of life to post Team of the Season, but for the most part, a lot of people stop playing after after TOTS, and it's just not exactly the game that it was earlier on in the year. Like I said, already people are starting to leave the game. What is that from David De Gea? But yeah, people are already starting to leave the game because they don't like coming up against big rated teams. They don't put money on the game. They don't keep up. They don't trade or whatever, and their teams fall behind, and they start complaining that they start losing. And next thing you know, they're quitting the game and they don't play it anymore, which I understand. But at the same time, to me, half of the fun is keeping up with the Kardashians to a certain degree, right? Like, it's just it's keeping your team. I don't know why I use that reference, but I guess that's the reference that I'm going to use for this. But yeah, keeping up with the times and making sure that your team's kind of evolving along with the game. That's part of the fun for me. I like being able to take my team from just a gold team and evolve it and make it a rainbow team over the course of the year. And next thing you know, you've got a really cool team by the end of it. So I actually find that I start playing more, as you guys are seeing, as the game goes on. So I'm kind of the opposite of the general trend. People in FIFA generally start to play a lot in the year, and then they just trail off as the year goes on, especially the people that don't keep up with the times. They just let their team fall behind. They get frustrated. I'm the opposite. So a lot of fun, I think, as TOTS comes around, but it's just 6 weeks out, and I don't want to save all this, all these coins and all this fodder. I'd rather just put some time and effort in. I was thinking about getting that Jadon Sancho, but I don't know. He's 900k, and the problem is I was expecting him to be a left mid. I could easily go get him and then slot him into the team, but unfortunately he just doesn't fit as a right wing. We've already got Messi, and I was contemplating selling Messi, but I made this mistake last year, and I sold Messi, and then I ended up picking up the TOTS version again almost immediately, because Messi's one of those guys that as soon as he's out of the team, I just want him again. So I know me, and I just know that I don't want to do that because I just want to keep the guy. He's too good. Ow, hand on my desk. I don't want to take him out of the team because he's going to be somebody that I just want to bring back in. And I've got the best version of him, unless the TOTS version is going to be that much better, or a central version. If he's a central version, I'll probably end up getting him, just because I like using central formations, and I don't necessarily want to have to swap in game, but it's not the end of the world. But if he is a cam or a striker, I think that's something that we consider doing. So that will be interesting. In terms of the gameplay, you guys are going to see a lot of switching back and forth. I try to keep it like all the PS5 stuff together and all the PS4 stuff together. I play a little bit of PS5 solo just because I keep trying to give it another go, but the reality is I hate it. I hate the PS5 version. I'm hoping the next year the PS5 version is the leader of the pack, and the PS4 is the one that you notice some sluggishness with. No offense, PS4 fans, but look, I forked out money for a PS5 for a reason. The PS5 version sucks. It's just not playable. The guys are on skates. You can't track properly. There's just a countless amount of times where you get the ball and the guys will just kind of slide side to side, or they just, I don't know, they just don't feel like they have traction, and you can't left stick dribble with them. They slide around. They're on skates all the time. So I just hate that. It's my biggest thing because I'm a huge left stick dribbler. The other thing is, one of the many things is I feel like the defenders don't track properly on PS5. So as you guys may or may not notice, a lot of the goals that we'll concede, when I'm telling my team to get back, the defenders run in straight lines and the attacker will run through the middle of them, and no one kind of tracks that run. It's just like the three of them running. So if this is the two defenders, the attacker will just run in a line, and guys play a driven through ball, and the defenders don't go to the attacker. They just run in a straight line back. So I don't know if that's a PS5 version or a PS5 issue, but I haven't noticed that getting exploited as much on PS4. The PS5 version, I feel like I'm conceding a ton of long through balls or just driven passes right into a striker, and the guy just turns and shoots. And there's no defender within 5 yards of him. So I don't know why that is. It's just, I could probably assume why. They just didn't code it properly. But yeah, it's a huge issue because I'm conceding a ton of goals like that. Also, the PS5 version has got that finesse shot. It's funny because some of the PS4 guys will try it. I don't know if they're watching PS5 videos or PS5 guys like Nep or whatever who just play exclusively on PS5 to the best of my knowledge, and then they try it on the PS4, but it doesn't work. I don't think the time finish works like that on PS4, and I might be mistaken. You guys can let me know. But the PS5 version is just not... It's not calibrated properly. So guys are just hitting finesses over and over, and then when you go on PS4, guys will try it, but one, half of them don't even use time finishing, and then two, I don't think it's a glitch on PS4, so I don't know why they try it. But keep trying it, guys. If you want to, it's just going to give the ball away, or you're going to miss the net. It's ridiculous. But, that is what it is. You can keep doing it. It's just probably really stupid because you're not going to score a goal. So, as you guys saw, we went undefeated, I think, actually, on the PS5 version on my account, and now we're on the PS5 version of Nema's account, and we're share playing on him. So, as you guys can see here, this is his team kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, reworking, I guess. So, the big guys he had in his team, he had Phil Foden, I don't know if he kept Phil Foden. I think he got rid of him in order to get Puskas, but he had Phil Foden's honorable mentions. He's got a couple guys that he just generally likes. He loves De Bruyne, so he was using De Bruyne for a long time, that first inform. He had that Roberto Baggio that I was talking about, and I don't think he had gotten Patrick Vieira quite yet. The other card he was still using was the Bernardo Silva. What a miss there. The Bernardo Silva, that one that had been, I think it was Road to the Knockouts or something like that, which was we had it before and we ended up putting it in SBC. It was an okay card. I didn't mind it, but it was what it was. I think he's a little bit behind the power curve. He's too small, and he's not quick enough to be that good a dribbler. He felt like a slightly better version of David Silva. You can have all the skill traits in the world, which is your shooting, passing, and dribbling, but if you're not fast enough, it's irrelevant. So I think that card was just that. It just wasn't fast enough. Roberto Baggio still has that, icon kind of luck with him. He has a presence on the field, but his stamina made him really poor, and he just wasn't strong enough to play a striker. So for some reason, he was using him as a striker. I think he just liked Roberto Baggio, but that mid version is just behind the times. It was good at the start, but he's not usable anymore, so thankfully he got rid of that. The other thing was he needed to change his defense. He was using Sergio Ramos as ones to watch, which was 72 pace or something like that. And I can't remember who the other defender was. Who was the other defender? But his entire backline was really poor. So we ended up reworking his backline. We put Kimpembe in, just base Kimpembe, base Marquinhos. We put base Hakimi in there, and then I can't remember who the left back is. We ended up putting a much better left back in. Night and day. Those cards are still usable to this day, right? Still usable. They're just phenomenal, right? That entire backline. The Marquinhos, I think you could probably do with getting a second upgrade, the second inform, or maybe I think it's the UCL version, whichever one it was. There's so many UCL releases, I can't remember. But you definitely need to put Kimpembe in there. If you're just going to go with a cheap defense, that guy is just absolutely outrageous. Still to this day, he's so good. He's got such a presence to him. You put a shadow on him, and he's having a team of the season card. He's so good. I can only imagine what that UCL upgraded version is. I think that one dropped a ton in price, but he would be a really cool card to have too. This Raheem Sterling he got the winter wildcards version, excuse me. The winter wildcard version, for whatever reason, they made him left-footed, and he was using them on the right, but I think I would convince him to swap him to the left. Every version of Raheem Sterling, in my opinion, is very, very good. I have the Player of the Month one. I love it. Even this winter wildcard one, if you use him on the left, he is built for FIFA. He is one of those cards that I swoon over all the time. I constantly say, if you can look at that team, oh my god, team of the year Mbappe. If you can get him, I just think that you won't regret it. He's so good. He's just built for FIFA because he's small, he's diminutive, he's a really good dribbler. He's got great shooting. If you put a chemistry style that has got an upgrade to shooting. His pace is already really high. His dribbling's high. His passing's fine. But yeah, like I said, if you put a shooting chemistry style on him, he becomes like this ultimate attacker who's just so rapid, and he's got such high agility and balance that he becomes almost impossible to get rid of, or sorry, to knock off the ball. So he's so good. I just recommend him. Any version, any special version, especially that you can get your hands on. I know you can't get your hands on the Player of the Month, but like any of those, like I think there's an Inform or the Winter Wild Cards. If you are contemplating it, definitely do it, because he's super cheap too. For whatever reason, people don't necessarily rate him that much, I guess, and you don't see him in too many teams, but I highly recommend him. I just think that he'd be a really cool card to have. One of the things that I actually wanted to get people's opinions on, if you guys have made it this far in the video, I'd love to hear your feedback on it, is I always go back and forth with the idea of going back on Twitch. Now, Twitch and YouTube are just such different beasts, right? So YouTube, the benefit for me for YouTube as a channel is I can cut this whenever I want. I can put it up there and it lives forever, right? Like my biggest issue, as you guys can probably tell, is like just consistency, getting videos out on a regular basis. Like I have a 9 to 5. I've got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, with having a partner and everything, and, having a full-time job, that I can't do this as a living. So, I try to cut it in as a reasonable time, but I know I got to get better at it. But it's just getting that consistency, getting in a flow. So I can't do this every day. I can't release like a daily SBC because it's not my full-time job. I can't dedicate that much time to it. So even if I can get, 3-4 videos out a week, which would be really ambitious, is that enough to really get the YouTube channel to where it really needs to be? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it's seen some growth, but it does require a little bit of luck. You have to get lucky having some videos that people like, putting something out that is just like a keyword that triggers things. Like when I put out my handicap video, Handicap Explained, it's been obviously the best video that I've ever had on the channel. The RTG stuff doesn't do as well for me, but I think a lot of that is just content discovery. I just, there's so many channels out there on YouTube that it's hard for me to kind of break through. But I appreciate, like I said, all you guys helping with that. But until I get kind of a couple big breaks, it's still just kind of grinding away on these long form videos, and it takes a lot of time and effort to edit them and render it out, make the graphic and upload it and stuff like that. So it's very time consuming. But as I said at the start of this kind of rant, the YouTube stuff is super conducive to my schedule because I can make it on my own time, upload it whenever I want, and it just lives forever. Twitch, the biggest problem, again, is discovery. There's so many people on Twitch because it doesn't require a whole lot of work. You just go live and you play. I don't want to do half and half just because I don't have enough time to... I'd rather focus my time on one versus the other. But I was thinking that I could do potentially what would be really interesting would be just a free-to-play RTG, right? Like, don't put any money on it, but a second account, and the only thing that we do with that is play it on stream. And I use basically the people that are in the stream to help determine what we do with the team. Like, what do you guys want to see me play? I won't care about the win-loss ratio. I won't care about like how good or how bad the team gets. It's really just interacting with, the fans, and I don't know, sound really conceited there as if I have fans, but anybody that wants to actually follow or like watch the stream, they can help build that team. It will be, I'll call them the stream team, right? So that'll just be a team that's solely built on people watching it, helping me grow it, and it will be like literally what it sounds like, the streams team. So whatever you guys want to see, we'll help build that, right? We'll do some fun stuff in the stream, but we won't touch it off stream. So that would be an entirely different channel, and then this one would just remain as like the main channel. You guys can see us, put money for pack openings or whatever, or spend time grinding out the game in terms of like the content. And then the other one is just like a fun, free-to-play, easy-going stream. And then this is the YouTube one. So that was something that had been popping into my head. But at the same time, I also don't want to stream for like 0 viewers, right? Like, it's going to be one of those things that, if I have just enough time to play FIFA, do I go on there or do I cut a video? So I don't want the channel to suffer or any growth or any like momentum we're getting with the channel at the cost of Twitch, right? I don't think that we'll ever be a huge Twitch channel. I look at the biggest guys, they're the ones that are playing every single day at a consistent time, at a consistent schedule, and that's just never going to be us. So is that something that you guys think I should try? Would you even enjoy that content, or should I just stick to YouTube? Just shut up and do YouTube. Also, like, I'm contemplating the idea of just doing smaller snackable videos. I know that some people have said, like, I like the long form stuff. However, I watch some channels that are just really quick hits, right? If there's an SBC that comes out, do I just do the SBC, show you guys how I do it, and then do a quick, like, here's a review of what I think of this card? That might be interesting content to just throw out there. I think I'm going to try doing that. Literally just go live, record me live doing the SBC if there's a cool one. Like today, there was a Ricardo Quaresma. We can build the Quaresma, throw him into a team, and then go try him out, something like that. And then next thing you know, it's got a quick hit. But my fear with that, not to make excuses, is that needs to be very timely, right? Like if I do a Ricardo Quaresma SBC and I release it a week later, he's not even going to be available. So it won't even matter if you guys did it or not, because you won't have the chance to do it anymore. So just a couple things that are going on in my head in terms of what I want to do. I'm really interested to hear what you guys want, what you want to see, what you want me to do with it. I like making these long form videos, but getting momentum out of them is very challenging. So I got to find a couple things to just kind of break through the monotony of a lot of YouTube's traffic, right? A lot of that traffic is going to the same channels, and getting my content discovered has been a bit of a challenge. So I'm trying to think outside the box, and I'm open to any suggestions that you guys have. So that was my kind of request from you guys as viewers of the channel. I would really love your help for anything like that, but we'll get back into the actual gameplay here. We finished all of our co-op stuff. I think we were undefeated. I don't think we actually lost any games, which was pretty exciting. I take most of my losses not necessarily from division rivals, just because we're not in the highest divisions, but mainly from FUT Champs. I think FUT Champs is probably the most competitive game mode that we play. So a lot of the division rival stuff, we've actually won a lot of games. So I'm sure that'll change over time, but right now we've been very fortunate to come up against some opponents that we've been able to dominate. And I'm just really enjoying playing co-op stuff. So whenever Nema can get online, like him and I love to get on a call and actually record it. If I can record it live, I'll try to see if I can do that at some point so you guys can actually see it. But I don't know how exciting that would be, because we're not necessarily the most exciting to watch. But I think it would be something that, maybe would just mix up the videos, and some live comm would be cool for a video or two. In terms of the actual team here, you guys saw I did the Eric Bailly SBC. He obviously got upgraded to an 88. That was an old school one. This Mesut Ozil, I just did this because it was cheap. We're going to put him in an SBC. We ended up selling that Kakare. He was a really good card. I actually really liked him a lot, but I think his price was dropping a little bit, and he wasn't conducive to the team I was trying to build, so we ended up selling him. We ended up packing that Denier. He was going for a little bit, so that was good. What else? What other SBCs did we do? I can't even remember. But we ended up changing up the team a little bit. I don't think I put it in this video, but there was an informed Jadon Sancho, so we ended up picking up the informed Jadon Sancho. The 85 rated squad. I think this was for the icon swap. Or excuse me, not the icon swap, the icon pick. So I normally hate icon picks, but I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole in the recent couple weeks doing them, just because I'm seeing people get a ton of really good stuff, and I'm just like, you know what, just give me some luck. But like I said, I only want to do them really if they're picks. So one of 3 mid icons, and of course we get absolutely nothing. We had Guardiola, Rivaldo, and Luis Figo. Guardiola I have no interest in, and he's too slow to be a midfielder. Luis Figo, don't need any right wings, and Rivaldo will take just because, I've been interested in trying Rivaldo. I've never had him. I don't think I've had him. I've had him in a draft, but I've never actually had him in a team. Rivaldo's never going to play in my team just because he's big and he's a little bit clunky. Even though his dribbling is high rated, he doesn't have that agility. He kind of reminds me a lot of Socrates, with the exception that Socrates has got a weak foot, so at least he's a little bit more usable. For whatever reason, Rivaldo is really crappy in terms of his weak foot. So he's got a 2-star weak foot, so he's almost unusable in that sense. He's just junk, but you can use him for offline stuff, so I don't mind him for that in that sense. But that's what that team is looking like now. Our team is looking like now. We still have that back line, Hakimi, Cancelo, Varane, Marquinhos, and David De Gea. Messi plays in behind Mauro Icardi at that point. We are using Dybala. That was the other guy that I forgot. I left that Dybala in just because I think that morning when they did the man of the matches, that Dybala, I was expecting him to go up in value in terms of he had a price range that maxed out at 100 and he was instantly selling. So like people, it was impossible to find him. I think it took me, and I'm not even kidding guys, there was ones that were coming on the market all morning and it took me probably an hour and a half to snipe them. It was the longest I ever spent trying to get anybody. And my poor girlfriend at the time, she was visiting from Ontario. Thankfully she was here for a couple weeks, so don't hate on me for being a terrible boyfriend, but she was sitting there watching TV on the couch and she's just like, are you still trying to get that card? And I'm just like, yeah. It was like an hour and a half. Literally one would come up and it would instantly sell. Like I could not snipe one. And I am not the quickest, but I'm also not the slowest when it comes to sniping. I'm a decent sniper. I could not get one of these guys. Like honest to God, I could not snipe this thing. An hour and a half and I felt so good when I finally got one. But I'm thinking, if this guy's going this quick at 100, he is definitely going to be worth a couple hundred. And within probably 2 days, he dropped about 40K. So I was just absolutely heartbroken. I still have him in the team. There is a FUT birthday one, but he's like 1.2 million, like way overpriced. So like 30 times the price of, this version. And I know that he's got 5-star. I know his stats are much better, but this one is, is a guy who's just coming in off the bench. He was in my starting squad for a little bit, but I'm not going to pay 1.2 million. I love Paulo Dybala, but he's not worth that, right? Like if he was a team of the season version and like absolutely through the roof stats, I would do it. But I know FUT birthday is just, these prices are just overrated because people like the 5-star. It's just a narrative within the community that people are obsessed with. They need 5-star or 5-star 4-star. Like as soon as a guy gets 1-star upgrade for one of his attributes, they like freak out. Like a perfect example is Puskas. Like don't get me wrong, Puskas going from, I think he's like a 4-star skill move, 3-star weak foot or something, and he went to like 5-star skill, 4-star weak foot. That one I can sort of get behind because like the guy's so good. Now he's got a very usable weak foot, but his left foot is pretty much the dominant foot that he uses all the time. But the skill moves to go up for an icon, and such a good icon, I can see it. But he's like 8 million, right? Like he's absolutely through the roof. But some of these other cards, like this Dybala, to me, to go from 40K for that man of the match to 1.2 million, that's a huge chasm between those prices. And to me, nowhere near worth that much different. Like I could see him being 600 maybe. 600 to 800, somewhere in there. I think that's a reasonable price for that difference between the skills. But like those cards are not that far apart, right? They really aren't. Like I think he's 4-star or something like that. 5-star does not justify 30 times the price of the highest rated version. Like it's just ludicrous. So I just don't understand that. Even the Jadon Sancho, right? Like the Jadon Sancho inform, huge increase for the FUT birthday one, but even him, he's like 900K right now, and the other version's like 30. So I know the other version's not like super usable, like the inform version. We were trying him in this episode, and he was just getting subbed out pretty much every game. He's usable, but if you get into a really tight game against a really good opponent, you essentially have to take him out of the game. He's not good enough to play in really tight games. He'll get exposed and he'll miss too many chances, and when you're in tight games, you can't afford to have guys that miss chances. So he is what he is. Yeah, so anyway, that's kind of where the team is at. I am looking for kind of some inspiration on what I want to do. Yeah, the team's looking really good. I'm also like just contemplating, where do we go with this? Just because like we are kind of climaxing with the team. I know team of the season is going to get me reinvigorated, but I don't know what they're doing with the game in between. They just haven't released a whole lot, right? Like I think FUT birthday really just crashed things, and I'm really curious to know how they're going to fill in that gap, because right now the teams that I'm coming up against, like people are getting an incredibly teams that I'm coming up against, like people have incredibly high rated teams, like full of icons. Some guys have icon moments because of that stupid glitch that they had the other day that had the icon moment cards inserted into the prime or mid version of the icon swaps, or no, I keep calling them icon swaps, the icon player picks. So you've got guys that have like prime Pele or like prime icon moments Rude Hullet already, and they're not even at team of the season. I know that they tried to slow things down with the silver stars. I think that was just a waste of a week, essentially. FUT Birthday has added a whole new bunch of cards, and don't get me wrong, I love all these cool cards. I don't know what I'm using them for, right? Like, I don't think FUT Champs has got me motivated to want to play it. Sometimes you'll go in there just to be like, there's nothing else to do, so I'll play it. But, you know, Division Rivals, like, the season rewards are not really a big deal. I don't care. I'm not a competitive, like, pro, so I don't care about, like, you know, playing for regionals or anything like that. Nor should you if you're not a competitive player. But, you know, Division Rivals, the rewards are not worth it on a weekly basis. You get, like, what, a couple mega packs? You'll pack nothing, right? You play FUT Champs, you get, like, some cool rewards, but the red picks are absolutely terrible. I've never packed one single good player from red picks, ever. My personal, like, recommendation is that they have, like, a kind of season-ending tournament, I guess, right? So they've got all these seasons in the game, and we're playing these, you know, there's seasonal objectives that are in the objective tab, or whatever, your season progress. It's the first time ever that I've got up to 30, so we actually ended up getting to, like, level 30. It's the first time ever in any FIFA that I've actually gotten up to level 30, so shows you the amount I've been grinding this game. You've got all these, like, daily objectives and all these things that are fun, but I would like to see, like, season progress have a gameplay element, so at the end of the season you're kind of playing towards this tournament that you can enter, right? I just think that having tournaments enter back into the game would be a huge benefit to FIFA. Right now it's just not, there's nothing to really play for. It doesn't feel like it climaxes at anything. It just feels like the cards get better, but you're just playing seasons, right? Imagine you're playing, or imagine real life football, right? Like, think of it as the Premier League season, but there's no trophy, right? You're just playing, whatever, 38 games of the season, and no one really wins. You're just playing all the games. So you take out the Premier League trophy, they're not really playing for anything. You get rid of the Champions League because there's no tournaments in FIFA anymore. That's what it feels like. It feels like we're just playing the 38 games throughout the course of a season, but it doesn't really get you anywhere. It doesn't get you anything. So I just think that they need to rethink what you're playing for, because right now it doesn't feel like you're playing for anything. Does that make sense, guys? Like, I don't know if I'm making any sense here. It just feels like you're playing for nothing. It just feels like you're going through the motions. And I get it. You know, I was the biggest advocate of casual gameplay. In old FIFAs, I loved playing just single player games. And then tournaments came in, and tournaments were in from the start, and then they entered seasons, right? It was before Division changed to Division Rivals, but they had seasons, and seasons was kind of fun because it felt like you were trying to win that season and then get promoted into the higher division. So there was some level of that. Right now, Division Rivals, like, what are you doing? You're playing 90 games, and that's your 90 games, and you get like a reward of like a couple jumbo rare player packs or something like that. I don't even know what you get out of it, but not a ton. And even those jumbo rare player packs, like, what can you possibly get in them right now that is going to trump what you have, right? Like, people open so many packs, there's so many things to grind. And don't get me wrong, I love the SBC stuff, I love grinding the game, I love all the new cards that are coming in, but they need things to use them in, because right now there's just nothing. Friendlies is a joke, right? Like, regardless of what you want to say, because people only go into friendlies to accomplish, like, icon swap tokens or whatever tokens come out, and then they go in there and they play golden goal, and people get mad if you don't play golden goal. So it's like you can't play any of them like in an actual full game, because you just go and you score a goal and the guy gets mad and rage quits, or gets mad that you're not quitting if you get scored on and he quits out and he calls you toxic. So what is friendlies really for, right? There's no friendly game. It's really they might as well call it token mode or whatever. And it's got all those stupid novelty games that they force you to play for, like, experience points. Like, play a Survivor. I played a Survivor game the other day. It was so stupid. Like, you go in there, you play a couple, or you score a couple goals, and it takes players out every time you score. So now I'm up 3-0, and I don't want to score any more goals because I don't want to get more players taken off. So I'm just holding the ball for about 80 minutes. It was really stupid, but it forced me to do it in order to get that final amount of XP to get to level 30. So nobody wants to play those. Nobody. Like, I don't know a single person that wants to play them. I appreciate the concept of what they were trying to do, which is like, hey, let's put some fun elements into the game, but nobody's playing that. I still believe that just, they need to get in there and, like I said, just create like season-ending tournaments or have some fashion of creating like trophies, kits, things that you can actually earn from playing. Because just opening up packs is not enough, right? People's teams are so good, you don't need it anymore. You can, and I've said this for years, right? Like, you can get high-rated teams from just sitting there and trading, right? Like, my best, like, I guess you'd call it an investment, is like the Luis Suarez's right now, right? I just bought Luis Suarez, and he'll go up in price. The amount of time that it would take me to actually sit there playing games, because you only get about 800 coins per game, the amount of time that it would cost me to sit there playing 15 minutes of a game to get 800 coins in order to get the same amount that I would get by just investing Luis Suarez for less than a week would be hours and hours and hours playing. And all I have to do is go buy those Luis Suarez, sit on them for a week, and then come back into the game and sell them. And I've made like whatever, 20, 30K, something like that, right? But you'd have to play, like, just think about that. You'd have to play, 40 games in order to get somewhere near 30K worth of in-game coins from earning it. Like, there's something grossly, like, off with the way this game is just designed. It just fundamentally doesn't have any rational reason to play it. It's just going in there and enjoying the sport. And I know that sounds silly, but like, really, like, do I like the sport enough? Do I like FIFA? Do I like the stress of playing FIFA to deal with that? Because it's very stressful and it's very annoying. So I hope they change it, because I just think right now there's nothing to play for. I'm building this team and I have no motivation to go into any of the modes, because none of the modes really are rewarding you. They're just giving you packs of junk. But anyway, that is kind of another real long rant. I know this is a really long video, so I appreciate anybody who's kind of stuck with me to the very end here. We do end up doing the Paul Pogba. I love this card, don't get me wrong. I think it's a fantastic card in the dynamic image, but look, the 74 rated just makes him unusable. Ironically, this card is actually probably better than the gold version, but Paul Pogba, as you guys know, probably my favorite player, if not my favorite player in real life. Very underrated. I know he gets a lot of hate. He's a very polarizing figure, if not the most polarizing player probably on the planet, but he just doesn't lend himself well to FIFA. Even the Winter Wildcards version, it's not really there. He needs a couple more upgrades, and I feel like they will. They'll release him in like Fuddies or something, some 92 rated version of Paul Pogba. We just did that just because I'm a big Paul Pogba fanboy, but the 74 rated version, we put him into a couple teams and he just wasn't usable. He's not strong enough. He's too slow, and we've talked about this a million times. He lacks all the key kind of characteristics that you need for a really high-rated card. The Anthony Elanga card, actually really cool. We didn't put him in any teams. I probably won't. I might use him offline in a couple. I think he's still sitting on 0 games. But that was a really cool card for them to do, and he is very usable. So if you guys do want to sneak him into a team, I think you can hide a silver card on the wing, because they don't get exposed as much as like the Paul Pogba would, being a central position. But yeah, a really cool card. If you did that SBC, it was super cheap. I would be surprised if you didn't. Just have him sitting in the club. Then we sold off Clarence Seedorf. We ended up picking him up, using him for a couple games. I love that Seedorf, but we ended up selling him just because I needed the coins in order to go get this beast, Kylian Mbappe. I just needed a pure striker. Like, I didn't like Mauro Icardi enough. Like, he's okay, but Mauro Icardi's just not... He's not dominant enough to be a key striker. Everybody that I was playing against had Mbappe. He's like a glitch. He's like a cheat code. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go get him. Let's see. If you can't beat him, join him. So that is the guy that we went out and got. And then we do this 85 plus triple upgrade to end the video. So you guys are going to see what we're going to get, which is probably going to be nothing. No surprises there. But that is going to be the end of the video, guys. I appreciate you sticking with me to the very end. A lot of rants, a lot of good times here. So until next time, guys, take care. Peace.